Language and gender. Are there signs of sexism in the English language? Firstly, what is sexist language? Lee argues that it is a language that expresses bias in favour of one sex and thus results in treating the other sex in a discriminatory manner. Consequently then, sexism in language is largely seen to be due to society and societal views and prejudices. The following quote from Aline Nielsen conveys some thought-provoking insights into our language. If a woman is swept off a ship into the water, the cry is man overboard. If she is killed by a hit-and-run driver, the charge is manslaughter. If she is injured on the job, the coverage is workman's compensation. But if she arrives at a threshold marked men only, she knows that admonition is not intended to bar animals or plants or inanimate objects. It is meant for her. Perhaps the most talked about instance of portrayed sexism in the English language is that of the difference between terms for men and women. Women are often showed to be conveyed in a derogatory manner. For example, through the use of animal terms such as chick or bitch, through links with infancy, babe or doll, and or through more cruder terms such as whore or slut, all of which can be seen to have negative sexual references connected to them. Men, on the other hand, have much more positive terms used for them, such as stud, dude, or hunk. Why, then, is there such a difference in portrayal of the double standard of slut and stud, if their meaning is the same? A single male or female that sleeps with multiple other males or females. In this instance, due to the already associated societal terms for men and women, a stud is seen as cool and encouraged to continue, whereas a slut is seen as dirty and frowned upon. Another example of this is the difference between bachelor and spinster. Both are unmarried and single, yet he is cool and could easily find a woman if he wanted, while she is old and past it, with no male likely to show her any interest. The difference between master and mistress is a further example of sexism in the English language. The male is seen to be the host and or the person in charge. The female also arguably has these surface connotations, but more often than not, the term mistress is more identifiable with the woman that a husband is having a sexual relationship with that is not his wife. A further example of perceived sexism in our language is that of fixed word pairs. Why is it that we say king and queen, men and women, but never the reverse? This can be argued to be due to dominance, status, and power that men still seemingly have in today's society. Mum and dad, on the other hand, appears in favour of the female, as the mother is always placed before the father in this instance, which may be due to the perceived importance of the mother over the father in childhood. Job occupations are a further case of sexism in the English language, as many were weighted in the title towards one gender over the other. However, this has much improved over recent years, as can be illustrated in the following table. As you can see, not all of the listed job titles are biased towards females. There are certain instances where the female job title has had to be changed to fix both genders, such as nurse and lollipop lady. Therefore, this conveys that sexism in our language is evident towards males in addition to females. Also, as shown, Suffixes are commonly used to change occupation titles, such as the suffix "s" in actress and woman in businesswoman. The use of gender-neutral terms is also used, as can be seen in the title firefighter. Overall, however, Lee depicts that these features of change still reinforce the view that women's status is dependent or derived from men. And so, although there is apparent sexism towards males in job titles, the majority is against women, regardless of the attempts for change in this area. The following instances of other sexist words and phrases enhance the suggestions that our language is more prejudiced against females than males. For example, mankind, man in the desk, manhole, manpower, manhood, and man-made. Essentially, all these words are deemed sexist towards women due to the affixation of man. It is argued that alternatives should be used, such as changing mankind to humankind, as this is less discriminatory and quite clearly does not just refer to just one gender. Furthermore, the generic pronouns of he and his, and the generic nouns of man and men can be seemingly sexist too. Feminine generic pronouns or nouns are not evident in the English language, and nor is there a third-person singular gender-neutral pronoun or noun too available to use as an alternative. One critic, Gumi He, portrays that these terms are said to refer to, with equal likelihood, to women and men, but that this grammatical rule conventionally elevates the status of masculine pronouns and nouns and lowers the feminine ones. Sexism is also arguably evident in other areas of the English language, such as public signs and jokes, in addition to sexist suggestions related to gender stereotypes in the media, and particularly in advertisement. Personal titles also can convey sexism, as Mr. refers to any male adult, whereas there is a distinguishing factor of marriage between Miss and Mrs. As a result of this, Ms was introduced into the English language so that there would be no confusion for anyone and so that the female individual could keep her marital status unknown to society. In conclusion then, sexism in language is a social problem according to Lee, and there are clearly signs of sexism in English, particularly with a general bias towards women rather than men. However, Hart comments on Patchew's views that certain words may not be recognised as discriminatory because their use is perceived as normative, such as the previous examples of man-made and manpower. And thus, many people view and accept certain signs of sexism in the English language. Regardless of people's views though, there are particular aspects such as job occupation titles which are slowly changing to be exclusive to both gender, and therefore they can be shown to be mirroring the change in our society today through the rise of equality between both men and women. Nevertheless, many argue that the English language is still sexist, even in the 21st century, and that there is much evidence conveying this, from double standards to generic pronouns, to differing terms for men and women, to many, many more suggestions. Sexism is evident in our language. Thank you for watching.